Hello, chess family. It's me, National Master Jesse James, and today we're going over another game review. This time we're taking out Philippians or Grandmaster Andy Woodward. That's right, the very young and very talented Grandmaster who's just taken everything by storm. Here I got a very nice win against him in a Caro in my fantasy variation. Unfortunately, he plays a very bad variation here, so I'm able to go ahead and take advantage of that. But other than that, he's now one of the top players online. He's definitely going to be a strong player in the future. I'm very happy I got to get a game against him and even a win. So let's go and take a look at this game. Here we go. I'm playing on the wide side. I start up with e4 and he plays pawn c6, the Caro. Here we go, d4, d5, and here I play the fantasy variation, f3. Remember, the fantasy is that they'll go ahead and take. I'll take back and have two pawns in the center. Now here, his theory is good. He plays pawn to e5. This is the best move. I play knight to f3, and here, unfortunately, he plays e takes d4. Believe it or not, this now gives white a very good advantage and very good attacking chances. It gives white a 0.6 advantage, which may not be a lot to some, but hey, it's good enough for me. And it gives me the game I want, which again, attacking chances. Here I play bishop c4. Do not take. We don't want to go into endgame, especially against such a strong player. I like to attack anyways. And here he goes ahead and plays another dubious move, bishop to e6. Now, this is a very bad move here as far as the position is concerned. Although it does defend the f7 ideas, which, as you could probably guess, there's lots of sacrifices on that square. This is also going to give me a lot of tempos or free moves so I can attack him. So here I knew the move. I'm going to go ahead and play bishop takes, pawn takes. Now the computer's giving me a plus 1.5, almost 2 extra pawns here, and I'm not going to waste time. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and castle, apparently the best move here, which makes sense to me. As you can see here, the f7 squares are already very weak here. Here he goes, knight to f6 here, and here I want to kick this knight away, so I play pawn to e5 here. The idea is very simple. Again, f7's weak, and I'm just kicking this knight out the way. As you can see here, my rook and knight have some very good ideas for this position. The knight goes to d5 here. I mean, where else could the knight have gone to? It looks like a very good square to me. And here I go knight to g5 here. Now I have knight f7, forking the rook and the queen, and also knight takes on e6. And no other variation I could imagine getting such a great position against such a strong player. I mean, I'm sure if in most of the other variations we'd ever play, he's always going to have an opening advantage. Unfortunately for him, he walked into some of my favorite prep here. Here we play queen d7. He defends the pawn and stops the idea of the fork of attacking the queen and the rook. Let's keep the attack going. Here I play knight f7 anyways. The idea is really to attack the rook and stop them from castling so easily. Of course, he moves the rook. And here I go knight to a3. The knight move looks a little bit weird. As you could probably guess, I'd love to play knight to d6 check here, but the bishop would just take. And after pawn takes, it's okay. So the idea of the knight a3 is just to play knight c4 and knight to d6. At this point, it's just chess now, and we're trying to find our best moves to attack. Again, I have a good position, so I have a lot better possibilities than my opponent. Here he goes ahead and plays pawn b5. Of course, he's not going to let me play the knight to c4 move. That's way too easy for someone like him. Here, queen takes on d4. This wins the pawn and also develops the queen. And I had a feeling I knew what he was going to play here, and he played it, of course. Knight to a6, developing with a threat. What's the idea? Very simple. Here, the knight comes out, allowing the rook, maybe castling ideas, but the real threat is bishop c5, pinning and winning to my king. I'm not going to fall for that, at least so easily. I go ahead and play king to h1 here. Computer doesn't like this move, but it's a good logical move for me. Here he plays pawn g6, and more weaknesses are being made here. And, well, the next piece I want to move here is my bishop, because, well, I want to go ahead and bring my rook into the game. The king is in the center. We don't want to waste time. Now, g6 does make a lot of sense here. He probably wants to play rook g7 to kick this knight out. I mean, this knight is just way too powerful. And here, I went ahead and played bishop g5, saying, well, it's not going to be so simple just to kick my knight away, because now the bishop is going to stop me from castling here too. Here he continues with his idea. Rook over to g7 here. I've only got one good move, at least for this knight. Knight to d6 check. At this point, I really do not mind losing a pawn or sacrificing a pawn, at least if I can get good attacking chances. And again, the king in the center is all I really want here. Of course, he's going to go ahead and take. Pawn takes and brings the rook back to d6. I'm sorry, back to g8 here. Probably wondering why queen takes on d6 wasn't played. Well, the same idea is going to be played here anyways. So I'll just go ahead and show the regular game. Here you get to play the idea. a pawn to c4 here. And this is a very strong move here because, well, as you could probably guess, if the queen was on d6, I'm attacking the knight. The knight really couldn't move or else he'd lose a piece here. And the idea is to bring the knight into the game. If the knight gets into the game, this is going to be perfect. It's now giving me a +6 in this position, basically up a rook and a pawn now. The queen took on d6 because, well, this is just bad. As you could probably guess, he doesn't want to move the knight away because I have pawn takes here, pawn takes there. Here he decides just to go ahead and try to solidify the position. Pawn takes here, queen takes on d5. Now, this may not be the best move, but it makes sense to me, especially because this is a bullet game, and he could definitely flag me. He's a lot faster than me. So, of course, I don't want to trade queens here for 2 reasons. First off, he could flag me. He's a lot faster than me, and I don't know if I could win the endgame as fast. But also because the king is very vulnerable. Why would you want to trade queens here when you have checkmating ideas? So, of course, it didn't take me long to play queen to f6. Now, as you can see, the queen's on a very good diagonal, threatening checkmate. This is exactly what we want, and this allows for our rook to jump into d1 here with this open file. The computer's already given this as forced checkmates. I was definitely not finding these in the game. Here he plays king to d7 because, yeah, I mean, this does stop the checkmating ideas as far as the computer's concerned. But as you could probably guess, let's develop with a threat here. Simple chess. Rook a to d1 here. This is just going to pin and win the queen. The knight went to b4 here. This makes sense. Why? Because if you take on d5 check right away, the knight takes, and the knight's actually going to be a pretty good defender here. Here we have forced moves. There's no need to rush it. We go queen e7 check, king over to c8, and then I went rook takes on d5 here. Now there's some trouble with just taking on d5 here because now the e6 pawn is checking here and attacking the rook. I mean, this is just a lost position here. As far as the game's concerned, so I mean, but if he doesn't take with the knight, then I'm gonna be able just to take the knight with the queen. So yeah, knight takes, queen takes on e6 check, king to c7 here, rook to f7 check, king over to b6. Here the king is just on running around here. Bishop check, queen check, king over to a6. I mean, yeah, I'm just in a dominant position here, but I still got to find the way to end the game here. Knight to c2, rook over to e8. Be careful, back rank checkmates are still in the air. And again, be careful, our opponent can still flag us. Here I play queen a3 check. I missed a forced checkmate with knight to b4 check. If you want to push pause and look at it, you're more than welcome to. But I just want to finish this game out as it's not too many moves away. Here we go. King over to b6, pawn to h3. I'm not going to get checkmated anytime soon here. Pawn to a5, pawn to b4. I'm trying to get control over this c5 square and open up the position. He takes, I take, rook over to d8. He's stopping my queen to d4 check now. Queen to c3, rook over to d5, knight to d4. The idea is simple. I want to put pressure on c6. Rook over to c5, queen to e3. I like this move as it pins and looks to attack the king as soon as possible. And now the game ends pretty fast here. Rook a4, knight b3. Let's pin and win. He's not going to give up so simple. He played rook a3. Obviously, a move like rook c4 is going to be better, but again, this is just a losing position. I'm sure he's done with this game already. Queen takes on c5 check, king over to a6, and now we finish the game with rook over to a7 checkmate. This was a very nice game I got to play against my opponent, all because he didn't know the theory in this Caro fantasy of do not go ahead and play pawn takes d4. That's already bad, but do not follow it up with the idea of bishop e6 here, as this is just going to give you very good attacking chances for white. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you in the next game.